the Civil Rights Lawyers channel. Kid railroaded after cop profiles him and then dies. So this was a case where this cop is, you know, racially profiling, and you know, he ends up having like a heart attack or something. Not the kid, the officer. The officer ended up having a heart attack after racially profiling this kid. Then they tried to charge the kid with the cop having a heart attack. They tried to say it was his fault. He stressed him out and caused him to have a heart attack. How unbelievable is that?
In Florida that you should know about. This 18-year-old Hispanic kid gets confronted by a police officer even though he's doing nothing wrong.
Stop! Okay, but why did you get up and walk away?
Huh?
When you saw me,
you
got up and walked away. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Where are you staying? Sleeping?
Where are you staying?
Here?
Yes.
Well, why aren't you eating inside? Okay, do you have any
outside? Like it, the question that he's answering, the question that he's asking is none of his business. And this kid doesn't even have to answer that.
ID and identification license?
What?
ID, identification.
Yeah.
In the room?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your first name?
Huh?
Your first name?
I'm sorry, I'm speaking.
Okay, do you have any weapons on you?
Huh?
You have any weapons on you?
No.
Well, you know what that is. Turn around, let me look.
No.
Turn around.
No.
Turn around.
No.
Don't walk away from me.
No, sorry.
Don't pull away from me.
And that then leads to a physical altercation. Afterwards, apparently the police officer had a heart attack, and now they're trying to pin it on this 18-year-old kid who didn't even speak English. I was made aware of this situation by Jeff Gray from Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations. And unfortunately, we don't have the full body cam footage yet because they have not released it. But we have this interaction, which is extremely important because they charged this kid with resisting an officer with violence and aggravated manslaughter of a police officer because, like I said, this officer subsequently died, apparently of a heart attack. So let's go through the footage that we do have and see what it shows. But this was the body cam footage of 52-year-old arresting officer St. Johns County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Michael Kunovich, who subsequently collapsed and died of a heart attack following the struggle that happened here. The kid's name is Virgilio Aguilar Mendez, an 18-year-old who later confirmed that he feared being deported back to Guatemala. He was charged with aggravated manslaughter of an officer and resisting an officer with violence. He is currently, according to the last media report I found, being detained without bail. This incident happened on May 19th at about 9 p.m. when Sergeant Kunovich saw this young man in the Super 8 motel parking lot on Florida 16 next to a closed Howard Johnson Hotel in St. Augustine. This is according to the arrest report.
Stop! 422 St. John's. 1012, single 13P, Hispanic male, white t-shirt, black shorts, Super 8 of 16. 3576 phone me.
Kunovich determined that, in his opinion, it was suspicious, and he began to question him, though there was no call for service. The closed Howard Johnson surprisingly did not call and complain that this guy was walking through their parking lot.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, why, when I was driving around, stop.
Eating.
Okay, but why did you get up and walk away?
Huh?
When you saw me, you got up and walked away. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
But you meet me you go bar, you drinking.
Where are you staying?
Huh?
Where are you staying? Sleeping?
Yeah.
Here?
Yes.
Well, why aren't you eating inside?
I'm sorry.
What?
Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I've got somebody coming. Okay, do you have any ID and identification license?
What?
ID, identification.
Yeah.
In the room?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your first name?
Huh?
Your first name?
I'm sorry. I'm speaking.
So when the officer attempts to grab and pat the kid down, Aguilar Mendez resists and a struggle ensues. Other deputies arrive and a taser is used in an attempt to control him. Now, these are the words of the media report from the Florida Times-Union. I'll post at the link below. Continuing on, while fighting on the ground with the deputies, Aguilar Mendez grabs the taser to try to take it away or to stop them. They get him handcuffed. But he still retrieves a folding pocket knife from his shorts pocket. This is according to the police report. Shortly afterwards, they disarm him. Then Kunovich collapses from medical distress. Okay, that is the official report here. The sheriff's office said that the struggle lasted about 6 minutes. About 3 deputies were involved in securing this kid, who his attorney pointed out is 5'4" and weighs 115 pounds. The sheriff, Robert Hardwick, said during a news conference that Sergeant Kunovich did everything by the book and that Aguilar Mendez was trespassing. Quote, all the suspect had to do was comply, Hardwick said. They didn't voluntarily give this body cam footage to the reporters when they requested them. And I wonder why. What does the body cam actually show?
Okay, do you have any weapons on you?
Huh?
You have any weapons on you?
No.
Well, you know what that is. Turn around. Let me look.
No.
Turn around.
No.
Turn around.
But no.
Don't walk away from me.
No, sorry.
Don't pull away from me.
First of all, you can see that the officer grabs Virgilio's right arm, which is holding a cell phone, apparently talking to his mom on the phone. And the officer yanks Virgilio's right arm backwards, basically says the whole stop resisting line. Don't pull away from me. Well, he didn't pull away from me. You very clearly can see with your own eyes that the officer is the one who pulled Virgilio's arm backwards.
Turn around.
But no.
Don't walk away from me.
No, sorry.
Don't pull away from me.
Let's set aside the fact right now that there is no justification under the Fourth Amendment for the officer to even detain Virgilio at this point, much less grab a hold of him and search him. But wait, you ask, does the Fourth Amendment even apply to illegal aliens? Does the officer have a loophole here? The Fourth Amendment does apply to illegal aliens, migrants, immigrants, whatever you want to call them. It does have some limited application in, say, border searches, things like that, other areas of the Constitution. But here, under these circumstances, yes, the Fourth Amendment does protect Virgilio, even though he's from Guatemala and is not legal at this point.
I'm checking you for what? Get your hands away from your...
No.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
No.
Hey, what's up, Kel?
I'm sorry. Oh.
It's crazy. So he rolls up to this kid, starts questioning him. Hey, what you doing? Why you not eating inside? Why you eating outside? Where you staying? Where you sleeping? What's that in your back pocket? Turn around. The fact that he and y'all cops are crazy, man.
So here are my thoughts on this. While it's tragic that this police officer died,
is it tragic the way he's acting?
Can't just pin his death on this 18-year-old kid, even if the initial stop were justified. But let's look at the initial stop, because I believe the lack of any legal justification for this encounter to begin with throws the whole thing out.
So whether he was justified in stopping this kid or not, which we already know he's not justified in stopping this kid because the kid didn't do nothing wrong, outside of just existing. How you gonna try to charge this? How you gonna try to charge this kid with the death of an officer because the officer had a heart attack from him stressing himself out, committing crimes? He's the one committing crimes. So, he in his quest to violate this kid and be an egotistical tyrant, his heart couldn't take it, and he didn't make it. So the fact that they're trying to charge this kid with that, Who is the DA on this case? Who put these charges on this kid? Come on. And how could they even deal with themselves or look at themselves knowing that they trying to charge this kid with something that they know isn't his fault? Come on, man. What are you trying to, man? What you think? The kid put a spell on him?
A police officer must have reasonable suspicion that some crime has occurred in order to seize somebody under the Fourth Amendment for what's called an investigatory detention. So where a police...
I'm all right, Kels. Just trying to process these crazy stories that we, I stopped looking at these. I stopped following these stories for 2 days, and this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with cops being called on somebody who was allegedly saying they were going to commit suicide. So they ended up taking the person that was having a mental issues. They took him to jail, berated him, belittled him, and just treated him less than human. That was their help for him. Now this cop rolls up on this kid and tries to, and just straight violates him, and ended up, passing away. He ended up passing away after this. Now they're trying to charge the kid with this. Like, this is insanity.
Police officer is forcing somebody who's walking down the sidewalk or a parking lot to stop and give them his ID.
What's up, Jim?
Or a police officer is grabbing a hold of somebody and searching them. That is a seizure under the Fourth Amendment. So at the very least, to even stop him and forcibly compel him his ID or his information, that requires reasonable suspicion. And then to grab a hold of him, pat him down and search it, that's more of a Terry stop, a Terry frisk. That requires reasonable suspicion and also probable cause to believe that the person may be armed and dangerous. Here we have none of that. How is this not just a racial profiling incident? The only allegation of reasonable suspicion is that it was a suspicious person. Now, there was no call. This kid was a tenant at the Super 8 motel. Now, this did not occur at the Super 8 motel property. It was next door at a Howard Johnson that was closed down. There was no call for service. So the only allegation they have is that he looked suspicious and he was trespassing. Well, there was no call. There was no complaint about trespassing. There are no indications that this property was like barricaded off and the kid like jumped the fence or something like that. No, he's just walking to his hotel room, talking to his mother on the phone. What makes him suspicious? What they don't want to say is perhaps the skin color. So therefore, with no reasonable suspicion that a crime has occurred, this kid never should have been detained. Then once he's detained, we have the language barrier problem. So the officer just immediately escalates the situation completely unnecessarily. I would imagine that there are resources for this officer to communicate with somebody who doesn't speak English or doesn't speak English well. But instead, he just completely escalates it. And you know what? That is perfectly consistent with the fact that this guy ended up having a heart attack. And it's just sad what they're trying to do to this kid, to railroad him and make him a scapegoat for the unfortunate death of this police officer. And the one thing that can stop this from happening is public exposure. So that's why it's important to share this video, to share this incident, to share this footage, which is why Jeff Gray sent it to me and said, broadcast this out here. And you know what? I think police officers sometimes should stop and think, you know what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do in this situation? You know, Jesus would protect the vulnerable among us, the lesser among us. He would protect those people. He would not act like you act, to confront this person and to question them, to accuse them, to grab a hold of them, to use violence on them. You know what? Police officers, they should act a little more Christ-like, in my opinion.
For sure.
So share this, get it out there. Let's stay on top of this one. So follow along, both at the blog, thecivilrightslawyer.com, and here. Remember, Our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.
Right. So I agree 100% with the criminal lawyer that cops need to be more Christ-like.